Imagine returning home after work and peeking into your bathroom, only to see a shoe. You look again, this time through the outdoor service port, and see a human foot. This isn't fiction. On February 28, 1989, in a rural village in Fukushima Prefecture, Japan, a young teacher found a man's body trapped inside the tank beneath her squat toilet. The event became known as the bizarre case of the body in the toilet, and it remains one of Japan's most unsettling unsolved cases. In this video, we're delving into a real-life mystery that blends crime, culture, and conspiracy. We'll start with what happened, and then explore the theories, from official explanations to local rumors. By the end, you'll have enough pieces to form your own conclusion. The scene unfolded in what used to be the small village of Miyakoji, now part of Tamura City. On the evening of February 28, 1989, a 23-year-old elementary school teacher returned to the single-room residence provided for her on school grounds. She went to use the toilet, an older, squat-style pit latrine common in rural Japan, and noticed something strange, a shoe floating in the darkness. Alarmed, she rushed outside to the service port, the access hatch used by sanitation workers to empty the tank. The lid, usually locked, was open. Hearing in, she saw a human foot. She screamed, summoned colleagues, and dialed the police. Soon, officers and firefighters arrived. They tried to pull the body out through the narrow opening, but it wouldn't budge. The tank's diameter was roughly 36 centimeters, while the victim's shoulders were wider. Eventually, they brought in heavy equipment, excavated around the toilet, and demolished the concrete structure to remove the corpse. What they found raised more questions than answers. The victim was Naoyuki Kano, a 26-year-old sales manager at a nuclear power maintenance company. According to autopsy reports, he was naked from the waist up, clutching his jacket against his chest, with only minor abrasions on his elbows and knees. The official cause of death was listed as asphyxiation due to chest compression, combined with hypothermia. Investigators concluded he had entered the pit voluntarily, allegedly to spy on the female resident, become trapped, and died of suffocation and cold. They estimated he had died around 2 days before the discovery. That explanation might sound plausible until you consider the details. To make sense of this case, it helps to understand the setting. In rural Japan during the 1980s, many homes still used pit latrines, squat toilets positioned above a holding tank. Waste dropped into this underground chamber, later emptied by sanitation trucks. Each toilet had a narrow porcelain opening inside the house and a service port outside, a manhole-like lid to access the tank. With openings as tight as 20 centimeters under the squat pan and about 36 centimeters in diameter at the service port, the system was never meant for a person to enter. These details may seem unusual to readers outside Japan, where pit latrines were far less common. The broader context also matters. The state funeral of Emperor Showa on February 24, 1989, was declared a national holiday. Some reports suggest schools were closed or teachers absent for a long weekend. If the residence was empty for several days, that could explain how Naoyuki's presence went unnoticed. Finally, the location itself shaped the case. Miyakoji was a remote mountain village in Fukushima, about an hour's drive from the nearest city. In such a close-knit community, any scandal carried weight. 2 years later, when a 7-year-old girl vanished from the same village, locals naturally linked it in memory to Naoyuki's case, an example of how unanswered questions breed suspicion. So, who was Naoyuki Kano? To locals, Naoyuki wasn't a nameless stranger. Friends described him as athletic, friendly, and active in community events. He played baseball, organized youth activities, and even emceed weddings. He worked for a company maintaining nuclear power facilities and supported the village's pro-nuclear mayor. On February 26th, 2 days before his body was found, Naoyuki reportedly told his father, "I'll be back soon," and left his house. That was the last known sighting of him alive. And what happened during the 2 days following his disappearance remains a mystery. So how did a well-liked, physically fit man end up wedged inside a 36-centimeter hole? The first major doubt about the official story is physical possibility. The pit's opening measured about 36 centimeters. Reports claim Naoyuki's shoulders were slightly wider. To fit, he would have had to dislocate his shoulders or be forced in. Moreover, he was found hugging his jacket, knees drawn to his chest. Could someone voluntarily contort themselves into that position? Critics argue it's extremely unlikely. There's also the issue of the shoes. One of Naoyuki's shoes was inside the pit, near his head. The other was later found on an embankment some distance away. If he planned to spy on someone, why remove only one shoe? How did the other end up far from the scene? These details fueled speculation that someone else placed him in the pit. Another source of public distrust was how the police handled the scene. According to reports, they washed the body with a hose at the location and again at the fire station. That likely destroyed forensic evidence. Additionally, some sources claim the officers didn't secure the area with proper barriers or take detailed photographs. Locals also questioned the speed of the ruling. Despite the unusual circumstances, the police labeled it an accident within days and moved on. In 1 month, villagers collected over 4,300 signatures, more than the village's total population, asking for a reinvestigation. Authorities declined. As of today, the case remains officially closed. Many residents felt the dismissal was too hasty, and that officials wanted the story buried. At the time, Japan's criminal law imposed a statute of limitations on serious crimes. Murder charges had to be filed within 25 years. After that, no prosecution was possible. For this case, the clock started in 1989, so the window closed in 2004. Since then, the law has changed. In 2010, Japan abolished the statute of limitations for crimes punishable by death, such as murder. Crimes with life sentences now have a 30-year window. Had Naoyuki's death occurred today, police would have unlimited time to investigate. That's important because it shows how legal frameworks can shape whether mysteries stay open or quietly expire. Officially, the case was an accident, but the inconsistencies sparked rumors that still circulate today. It's vital to distinguish documented facts from speculation. What follows are unverified allegations repeated in local discussions. No primary evidence has been produced to substantiate them. Some villagers believed Naoyuki was silenced because he knew about illegal campaign funds. The story goes that the village mayor, up for re-election, supported nuclear development. Allegedly, an 8 million yen bribe from a nuclear-related company was used to sway votes, and Naoyuki, being a salesman at a nuclear maintenance firm, learned of it. Fearing exposure, powerful figures might have had him killed. It's worth noting that this narrative stems from hearsay. No official investigation has verified it. Another rumor suggests the female teacher had feelings for Naoyuki. She and Naoyuki were acquaintances, and some claim she was obsessed with him, with romance-related trouble possibly playing a role in the incident. Supporters of this story argue that police altered the official account to shield the teacher's reputation and her family, who were said to have ties to law enforcement. Again, there's no documentation to confirm these claims. The fact that officers washed the body and the absence of photographs led some to suspect a cover-up. According to rumor, the policeman and the doctor who conducted the autopsy resigned shortly after the case. Critics say this indicates guilt. Skeptics note that job changes can have many explanations. Shortly before the incident, a minor accident occurred at a nearby nuclear plant, and Naoyuki's supervisor allegedly committed. Some locals link these events. It's natural for rumors to fill a vacuum left by unclear facts, but as we share these, remember, they remain unproven. So what are we left with? On one side, there's the official record. A man climbs into a pit latrine to peek, becomes trapped, and dies. On the other, there are physical inconsistencies, unexplained handling of evidence, and an array of rumors linking the death to money, politics, or jealousy. For those who live in Miyakoji, the unanswered questions linger. For the rest of us, this story is a reminder of how fragile truth can be when evidence is mishandled, and how quickly rumor can fill the void. So here's the question. What do you think happened? Did a man really squeeze himself into a 36-centimeter hole to peek at a woman only to suffocate? Or was he placed there by someone else, his death covered up by powerful interests? Share your thoughts in the comments. Remember to distinguish fact from conjecture and respect the lives of those involved. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.